I was a junior in the Medill School of Journalism, and I wrote a column for the Daily Northwestern that touched on social issues and that sort of thing from time to time. And one night I got a phone call in my dorm from somebody who was a follower of my column. It was a woman. She didn't identify herself, and she was either a girlfriend or a wife, I'm not sure which, of somebody who was involved in the inner workings of Psi U, the fraternity. And she essentially told me what had happened with Sherman being pledged and then de-pledged. And I wrote up a column about what she had told me, and that was the beginning of the incident.
Sherman Wu was a freshman at Northwestern University in the fall of 1956 when he pledged and was subsequently forced to de-pledge from Psi Upsilon, an off-campus fraternity, because 7 freshmen refused to pledge. They feared having a Chinese in the house would degrade the status of the fraternity and make it more difficult to get dates from sororities. The incident surprisingly incited a strong national response from the media and from celebrities such as folk singer Pete Seeger, who wrote a song about Sherman Wu. Yet Sherman himself remained silent.
He was pretty focused on learning what he had come here to learn, and he wasn't a crusader or a zealot of any kind. He was just a very quiet, dedicated, serious student and a nice guy to be around.
Despite his seeming placidity, Sherman Wu put up a rebellious resistance against the prevailing racial climate of the 1950s by unapologetically taking up space at Northwestern. Not only did he name himself after Sherman Avenue, shortly following the incident, Sherman ironically went on a date with Anne Margaret Olson and became an honorary member at 3 fraternities on other campuses, one of them being the Psi U chapter at University of Rochester. Sherman went on to achieve much greater things and left his mark on the world before he passed away on May 11, 2010.
Sherman went on to do pretty great things himself, although he was always very modest about it. He was on loan to the government, and he worked on the Apollo project for NASA. And one of the things he did was he designed the control system for the lunar module. And he did other things. He helped to design missiles that were then used to end the Vietnam War.
Through his actions, Sherman demonstrated that silence is sometimes the most powerful way to be seen and heard. His silence opened up a space for Americans across the nation to actively discuss race in ways that were uncommon during that time period. While Sherman certainly did not actively protest the injustice he experienced, he is not any different from the other race rebels who all sought to carve out a space in a society that told them they did not belong.
The thing that would strike me now, looking back on that incident, was how ironic it turned out, because as you well know, Sherman died not too long ago. I had lost track of him over the years, but reading through his obituary, the accomplishments that he made and the achievements the goals that he set and reached were really phenomenal. And the irony of this fraternity thinking that he was somehow an embarrassment to them, when in fact he would have been a tremendous asset for them to claim. That, I think, is the telling line here, how misdirected this prejudice against him was, and that you can extrapolate to prejudice in general.
The Sherman Wu Incident is important, particularly for contemporary Asian America, because it reminds us that the fight to be seen and heard is very much a collective movement rather than a singular effort.
As I was out walking the streets of Northwestern, I spied a young freshman, dejected and blue. And so when I asked him, "Why are you dejected?" he said, "I'm Chinese and I can't join Saiyu."